This week, coming up from the ashes.
Well, it's funny. I'm looking at the poster for it, and the first thing I thought, I was like, I wonder how they dated then. If they're trying to live normal lives, did they have like, you don't have to be lonely at zombiesonly.com? I mean, did they have that kind of?
I would imagine that they were already together before he got infected.
Maybe. Well, what about the ones that weren't? What about the singles? What happened to them? I want to know about that. No, anyways.
Well, maybe there's a Tinder for that. Like
Tinder. It's called Cinder. Today is April 15th, tax day. Did everybody get your tax done, or are you going to be late? Let's find out. But first of all, we are going to be talking about zombies today, all about zombies. And today I am your undead host,
Yes,
Phoenix.
Welcome to the undead side.
and I am Phoenix, and with me is my co-host for the day,
Zhombi,
and
spelled Z-H-O-M-B-I.
that's right.
The correct way of spelling zombie.
To him. And unfortunately, we have two people out today. Joe and Arson were caught doing some crazy things together, and we had to put them on a sabbatical. So they'll be back. Well, at least Arson will be back next week. And so to fill their shoes, we brought in one of the other teammates, one from the other week. When would we never thought that we'd bring in, but you know what? He's here, and I'm so freaking great. The sexy, the amazing Flerp.
what's up, Dirt my Flerp? Let's talk about zombies.
Brains. Sorry, it doesn't sound as good unless it comes from Zhombi. So, so yes, today we are talking all about zombies. We're talking about anything in the media, maybe some lore. We're just shooting the breeze about it. We're just gonna have a nice little conversation, and whatever comes up, we'll figure that out. So, since Zombie is the one that inspired this week's podcast, I want to give it to him first and let him just talk about it, and then after that we'll figure out what we're doing. Go ahead, Zombie.
So, I'm going to start this off with, I'm going to combine two things that I enjoy. Zombies
And
bad
masturbation.
jokes.
Oh.
Well, okay. Hey, if I was, would you know?
Oh gosh, I don't know. If I sit there and hear you going brains, then probably yes.
No. So, bad jokes.
Puns.
Puns. So, here's one for you. What do zombie musicians crave?
Oh, Flerp, I feel like you should say something about this one.
I feel like I'm about to fire Zombie. What?
What do zombies?
Refrains.
No!
I looked up undead puns for this specific thing. I have an entire Reddit postings of nothing but bad undead jokes.
So it's going to be an hour of puns. That's all it's going to be.
Agreed to do this, and I'm just gonna get attacked all day.
All right, we'll limit him.
Hey, you should have known what you were what you signed up for.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't figure it'd be that bad, did you?
No.
What had happened was.
So, I figured we could start by. I don't think there's anybody here that doesn't know what a zombie is, so I don't really feel we need to go into that. What is a zombie? We don't need that TED talk.
But I had the definition pulled up. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. I was like, okay, then read it.
I have no idea. A dead creature?
Close enough.
Okay, there we go.
So, why don't... oh, wow, I just had a major brain fart. It's better than a butt fart.
Yeah, we've had those on stream or on podcast.
So, to just kind of get going, obviously I took my name Zombie after zombies because I like zombies and everything like that. But it's not just like zombies. So why don't we kind of start with what about zombies do you like? Whether it be like them themselves, something to do with usually the types of stories that are told. And I'll kind of go first since I kind of, posed this.
Okay.
But since it's only fair. For me, it's something about the survival aspect of it. From the survivor standpoint, the kind of I mean, I know I'm going to say realism, but and is dealing with zombies, but
Right.
Well, as being realistic as you can. Like, I watch the movies and I play the zombie games, and when they start to veer away from realism, I don't have a thing like in some games you get like special infected. Though that doesn't bother me any. That I get it. You have to make variety and stuff like that. You can't just have a horde because then it gets boring.
Right.
But I'm talking about when like you have this group of zombies and they're doing something. It's like, okay, well, a human body, even if it can't feel pain and it will literally punch at a wall till its arm breaks off and it'll keep punching until that next part breaks off, won't be able to break through this. Like the physics kind of go out the window, not just to a minor degree.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a brick building or a brick wall and and even a bunch of zombies on the other side, they're never going to be able to break through that. Now, depending upon how well reinforced that wall is, if it's just a wall, they may be able to push it over.
Right.
And that's fine.
I mean, enough pressure will make a wall push.
Yes, but I'm talking like if you have right now I'm looking out a window and I see a cinder block garage.
Yeah.
Now, obviously the windows are weak point and so are the doors. But no amount of zombies is going to be enough to be able to push that building over.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to realize with all that stuff, it's all movie magic.
Yeah,
and video game and stuff like that. So they gotta curve that.
I realize that, and that's what I'm saying. To a certain extent, I get why some of it happens, and I give them a buffer. Mm-hmm. But there are some movies and games that I look at, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit beyond, a small stretch.
Right.
Now, again, if you throw in, hey, your regular zombie, yes, this brick wall, they can't do anything to it. But that's why we got this big boy over here that can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, you've solved the problem in a logical manner. Your average zombie can't break through this, cinder block garage, but, big boy over here can. Easily.
Well, they've done some crazy things with zombies. Like they've done so many crazy things. But we'll get into that later. I know Zombie posed a question, and so go ahead and answer that.
I did.
Well, no, I was talking about Flerp.
What are we just asking? Are we just speaking things in zombies that we like.
Like, what's your what could be something that you really like about zombies in general?
It's, for me, just the reason why I enjoy zombies as much as I do. They're my favorite fictional horror thing. But the thing that I like it is you can take it really any direction.
Yeah.
And I do agree with the whole idea of special infected. Because every virus is going to mutate over time in some way, shape, or form, and different people react to different viruses all the time. We see that every day in the real world. So, if you get a unique case, maybe you will have some of those abnormalities, happen. But for me, yeah, I think the number one thing that really just kind of drives me for zombies is there are so many things that are the exact same, and those are repetitive, and I get bored of them. But there are also some really cool zombie ideas.
Yeah.
Like, you've got your classic Dawn of the Dead, and then you've got your Dawn of the Dead remake, which, Dawn of the Dead remake introduced runners, in which the original Dawn of the Dead, it's like you could literally probably crab walk away and be completely fine. You had to really suck. You had to really suck to die in Dawn of the Dead, like the original one.
Yeah.
But, then, take like, I hate to say this because I really don't like this show. The Walking Dead, for example. For them to have, however many seasons of just regular ass walking zombies, and then towards the end to have zombies that can climb and see the reaction of the cast being like, what the fuck? They can climb now? It shows that the virus is mutating. But then again, they also waited way too fucking long to do that, and by the time that it meant anything, it was the end of the series. So I don't know. I really like the way that you can kind of do anything with it. Like I especially like it where they show zombie films, where the zombies kind of retain a bit of who they were.
Yeah, that is a good part.
Yeah.
I do like when, like, as stupid as this movie was, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse was awesome.
Yes.
Because those zombies all retained a part of who they were. Like the Britney Spears part was absolutely hilarious. And it's like, I kind of feel like that's a possibility of, like, I feel like that's a more realistic idea of zombies, where instead of just being like these undead shambling creatures that have zero brain, they're just infected people.
Well, that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you can go ahead. I was done making my point.
Oh, well, I don't have one specific point, to make about my favorite part of zombies. I like the zombie lore in general. Like, the zombie lore has changed a lot over the years because it wasn't about being infected back in the day. Like we're talking about stories back in like the 1800s, that's when the zombie lore began. And it was more, which I think it'd be still better this way because it was centered around, voodoo.
Yes.
And it came from Haitian and West African voodoo, basically, and that belief is that a spirit can or a spell can bring back the corpse to life and perform heavy labor and evil deeds for its master and sorcerer. So that was, that's one of the points I wanted to make. I like the original. It's more thought out, I think, with the voodoo part than just flat out saying we'll just throw a virus on them and there you go, bam. Now, over the years, the virus thing has become like the mainstay of how zombies are made. For instance, like, Resident Evil's got the T virus, So and stuff like that. So I really like that. And of course, this goes back to like necromancy and stuff like that. Like this goes way back. But
You know how hard it is to raise a family?
gosh, here we go. How hard is it to raise a family?
Not that hard if they're buried close enough to each other.
Okay, there we go.
Bar sucks.
But so anyways, so yeah, I don't have any like particular like favorite. I do love it. I do love when they started to run, like, because that kicks it up a whole nother notch. It's like, oh crap. like for instance, you know, we all play 7 Days to Die, you know, and during the day and stuff, they're all just like, what's up? You know, they don't run very fast. And then, of course, you can adjust the settings. And at night, it's just like, nope, I'm not going outside. Nope, I'm not doing this. Let's just get through the day. I want my mommy, you know.
You yakety sacks.
Such a love-hate relationship with 7 Days to Die. And it's just because of the fact that when they released the trailer for that game, it looked so badass. And then when we got it, it's literally just zombie Minecraft. And
That's how I describe it to people.
I love it.
It's still
Don't
an
get me
alpha.
wrong.
We don't know what's going to happen with it.
That game will never be finished.
I know.
That is,
now you've opened that bag of worms.
Yes, I did.
Like, waiting for that is like waiting for DayZ to be finished. It's never gonna happen. DayZ's been in alpha for what, 20 years?
It's crazy. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. So let's dial it back for a second. Let's go because before games there were films, and you know, the first to believe to be the earliest zombie film was a movie back in 1932 called White Zombie. But there was a movie back in 1919, and I'm probably gonna butcher this, but it's like accused with the J and a exclamation, like a apostrophe at the top. So it's J'accused, and it's about World War I zombies, and it's a silent film. So, you know, have with it what you will. I literally don't even know about it. I just, like, I've got a list on Wikipedia of all the zombie movies. But beyond all that, there's all kinds of, there's crazy movies. Listen to some of the names of these movies, okay? First of all, there's Teenage Zombies, which we talked about. Hey, guys, if you've not seen, like, if you should take it upon yourself to look up Teenage Zombies, made in 1959. This movie, you've got to just look at the cover art for it. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, it's quite interesting. The guy saw it, so
yeah, it's interesting.
Questionable.
It's something, right?
Yes, it is something. I will.
Yes.
I will agree to that.
Yes. So moving on, there are other movies. The Return of the Blind Dead. Like, I have never heard of, like, that's a sequel to The Tombs of the Blind Dead. But before that, because, you know, that was in 1972, is The Tombs of the Blind Dead. But before that, 1968 came out with, you know, the movie that came out was the definitive at the time, and it still holds up to this day. And it's George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. And of course, that was followed up by the sequel, Dawn of the Dead. And that was like years later, about almost 10 years later in 1978. But that it's literally, that was the beginning of everything. How for a lot of people, like, that was the definitive movie, I would say. What would you guys think?
I'd agree.
I would agree.
Night of the Living Dead was so basic, and, you know, like, it took place in just one little area, and, it was, but it literally got its point across, and it was a masterpiece at the time, So, but just to throw this out there, because this is this is the one that really got me into zombie movies. It was in the 80s, and I didn't even see the first one first. There was a second one called Return of the Living Dead Part 2. And that movie is the one that got me into basically zombie movies, or zombie anything. Or it was Return of the Living Dead, my bad. It wasn't Part 2, it was Part 1. And it was done by Dan O'Bannon in 1985. Has anybody seen that of you two, Return of the Living Dead?
Yes.
Probably at some point. There's so many nights, days, nights of the Living Dead. They all kind of blend together after a while.
This was different, though. This was like a comedic horror film.
I've seen so many comedic zombie movies, I don't even know where to begin.
This also had Michael Jackson as a zombie in it.
Of course.
But that movie did so many things for me. I loved that movie as a kid. It's just a masterpiece to me. Granted, it's probably crap, but I haven't seen it in forever. But yeah, that's the one that will always stand out as one of my first ever seeing any type of zombie movie. I was young, I was not even 10 years old, and Return of the Living Dead came out. I seen it at my uncle's house, and that's the first time I remember seeing it. So
I wasn't even born yet.
yeah,
I was 4.
I wasn't even swimming yet.
Jeez, you baby. He's such a baby.
Yeah,
So,
I'm go ahead.
No, go ahead. So, anyways, but then there's other titles like Redneck Zombies, Zombie High. There's just all these like really campy type of stuff too. Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which they tried to hold on a second. They tried to redo that magic, but it wasn't as good. But anyway, so what about you guys? What's some of your favorite zombie movies? Zombie, you go first.
So I don't know if I'd call this a favorite movie, but it definitely sticks out every time I think about zombie movies. So I was years ago, I was with a friend, and people were supposed to come over and hang out, but it ended up everybody ditched except for him. So we're like, okay, well, let's just watch a movie and order pizza. Kind of the default way. It's like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, you want to watch a movie and order pizza? Sure, why not? So we went to Family Video, so kind of dating myself here a little bit.
Family Videos, wow.
Blockbuster was already gone, so, but not by long. Anyway, I'm sidetracking myself. So we went there, and me and this guy, we tend to like to watch bad movies.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And you just poke fun at it.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that doesn't surprise me with you.
Oh no, of course not. So we rented Return of the Living Dead: Rave to the Grave.
Oh my gosh, I just passed that on my list.
It is so bad. So the synopsis is: a college student creates a drug called Z and sells it on campus, inadvertently resurrecting the living dead who wreak havoc at a Halloween rave.
Wow.
And
it takes place on a college campus. There's nudity in there.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look at the artwork for the movie cover.
Yeah.
I mean,
let me look at it. What year was that out?
2005.
Let me do some scrolling because I scrolled past it. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, see?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how to feel about what I'm looking at right now.
I mean, hey, Zoobies. Right?
Yeah. Zoobies.
So,
Jeez.
so before we even got back to my apartment, my friend said, I'm going to call this right now. We're going to see the end of this movie and see a zombie hitchhiking down the road. And sure enough, the end of this movie
Oh my gosh.
is there's some zombie and he's got a sign, and I can't remember what it says. It says something or bust, and he's walking down the road. And I look at it and I'm like, what the hell? Just like, look, I know bad movies. All right.
Wow. That
But-
yeah.
And like, and I can't remember if it was this one or not, but there was another bad zombie movie that we watched, because I think we watched a couple. And
Is it Abraham Lincoln versus zombies?
no.
Sorry.
So I don't, like I said, I don't know which one it was, but the zombies get released because you have these like animal rights activists that are breaking into this lab
yeah.
to free animals. So they get into this lab and they're trying to find the animals, and they find a console and they're like, hey, there's these doors and we need to open them up, and to free the zombies, not the zombies, free the animals. Well, something happens and they short circuit the panel, and it cuts the power to either the facility or just this area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these doors, when the power gets cut, automatically open, and the zombies get out. And I'm thinking to myself, I pause it and I look at him and I say, okay, I know why that happened for the sake of the movie. And this is getting back to my whole logic in zombies thing, is if I have a research facility and I have zombies who are locked up, I wouldn't have it when you lose power, the doors just open. Because that's not how those work. I've worked in a secure facility when they lose power. So, but again, I understand why they did it, because if not, you don't have a movie.
Right.
But I'm just like, okay, really, you lose power and these doors open, as opposed to, I don't know, a giant steel slab dropping in place.
Burnt. What the heck? I know something that just dropped in place.
Yeah, okay, I'll just leave it at that.
That's like 3 times now. Well, twice from zombie and once from his cat. Sorry. Anyways, not this podcast.
So, I mean, but picking a favorite zombie movie, man, that's too hard. I mean, I've seen so many, which I know is a shock, that trying to go, okay, this one is my favorite. I can't do that.
How about this? What was your defining? What was the one that made you really turned you on to that?
So I guess the one that really kind of turned me on is, I've seen zombie movies, before this, but I saw the remake of, what was it? Oh, I think it was a remake of Dawn of the Dead, the newer one.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that they didn't explain where they came from.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I liked we're not even going to try to explain where this comes from. I think the only thing they ever said about it was in the trailer was, what happens when hell gets full. So, but that was it. They didn't say, oh, this is because hell's too full and their souls are reanimating. They didn't say anything. It was just a tagline to get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I don't have a problem when they do try to explain it, because that would happen in real life. They'd be like, hey, what's causing this? And you'd have researchers like, oh, well, this is a virus. Da, da, da. That makes sense. But that one seemed to be like, look, these are just regular people. This isn't like a doctor and a SWAT team. These are just regular people trying to survive.
Right.
That's what I like. So that's why I really like Dawn of the Dead, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Regular people trying to survive.
So that's your choice. That's pretty good. That's a good choice.
I know it's a long roundabout way to get to it, but
yeah. Well, no, you're fine. But just to rehash this, it's not his favorite, but it's the one that got him really, really interested. What turned him into the zombie that he is today.
I became a zombie at that point.
That's right. What about you, Flerp? What do you whether it's your favorite or whether it be what got you into it or both? Tell me.
All right, so we're gonna drive down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I feel like everybody talked about a bad zombie movie. Just to kind of start off their rant. So I'm gonna make I'm gonna bring up a little unknown gem that one of my friends told me about, and then I checked out. And I do want you to know, before I say the title of this movie, I want you to know that it has a higher rating on IMDb than Dragon Ball Evolution. And this movie is called Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead.
Well, that's not
This
hard
is a movie of teenagers that are going camping in the woods when they find themselves in deep trouble, when shit-covered zombies that are controlled by parasites come out to attack them. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and it still has a higher rating than Dragon Ball Evolution. I just want to point that out.
Japanese comedy horror.
But,
why does the chick in there look like Sailor Moon?
So, just to kind of touch on things, a movie series. What got me into zombies in the first place is, obviously Resident Evil. I was a kid. My dad played Resident Evil 2. And it scared the shit out of me. I must have been 7 or 8 years old. And I was watching my dad play this, and those polygons scared the shit out of me. Looking back at it now, it's like, wow, this is terrible. But when I was a kid, that was terrifying.
Yeah.
But
it was terrifying for sure.
As I grew up a little bit more, I played the game for myself. And, of course, after playing a few of them, they announced that they were releasing the Resident Evil movie. And I was so excited. And it was dog shit.
But spawned a series.
But spawned a series of even more dog shit that has nothing to do with anything.
Right. What they did with Nemesis was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And it was I view all of that director's films as how can I put my wife in a movie? Because that's the thing. Every time I can't remember his name, but every time he gets to direct a movie, he puts her in it. And he doesn't care if he has to make up a character. He's putting his wife in the movie, and she's going to be the main character.
Let me ask you this real quick. What did you think of Welcome to Raccoon City?
I was getting to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So, all I'm going to say, the mainline Resident Evil movies, are they watchable? Sure. Are they enjoyable? They got some cool moments. Do they have anything to do with Resident Evil other than likenesses and names? Absolutely the fuck not. Welcome to Raccoon City. This movie was announced that it was going to be the savior of Resident Evil movies. And I got super excited for it because they said that it was going to start with Resident Evil 1 and it was going to make its way to Resident Evil 2. And I was like, okay, that's super awesome. Here's the problem though. So the problem there is in Welcome to Raccoon City, they introduce two different characters. You know, they introduce Chris, they introduce, Claire, they introduce Leon. The problem is while this movie is taking place, so Resident Evil 1 takes place 2 fucking months before Resident Evil 2.
Right.
But for some odd reason in this movie, they're both happening at the same time. And while Resident Evil 2 is happening, Chris is supposed to be in Europe. He's supposed to be nowhere near, yet him and Jill are, constantly interacting with each other. I also don't understand why they took the literal face of Resident Evil, Leon Kennedy, and then just said, we're going to throw that entire thing away. And I can't go into that topic because it makes me sound like a dick, but they just completely threw out the poster boy of Resident Evil and made him the most useless character in history. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is what happens when you take a bunch of people that have never played or researched a Resident Evil title, put them all in a room, get them all ridiculously stoned, hand them source material, and say, write a movie.
I will say, so when I first saw this announced and I saw that Robbie Amell was going to be in it as Chris, I like that because I like the Amell, family, like Robbie and Steven, who played Arrow. He played Oliver Queen in Arrow. Robbie Amell played Firestorm and The Flash.
Yeah.
I really liked him as that, so I wanted to see him succeed in this movie. And after watching it, I did like it, but in the same sense, I had to look at it as not a Resident Evil movie, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I looked at it from that, and I understand what they're doing with the Leon in there too. They're making him look like that because it felt like in the sequel they were going to turn around and make him like, because he's the new rookie, and I know he was, but he's even newer rookie in this, and I was looking forward to seeing that progression. But they made him look like trash in that movie. they really did.
And what's funny is that movie had a higher budget than the original Resident Evil movie. It doesn't look like it.
No.
But
Still
moving on
made
to
$42 million though, out of a $25 million budget.
Yeah, I mean it still made its money, but I pray that I never see a second one. But moving on to favorite zombie movie, I'm kind of on the same page with Zombie a little bit on this. I don't have a favorite zombie movie. I have favorite movies based on different takes of zombies.
Yeah.
Like, I would still probably say that even though you guys haven't seen it, Train to Busan is probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. That one's absolutely insane. But for the sake of movies that you guys have probably seen, that is the hardest choice in the world to make.
Yeah. And you don't have to make the choice. You can always, like I said, you can say what really, like, what movie got you into zombies, but you already said games. The games aspect is what got you into zombies. So
it was more so the games aspect that got me into zombies, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to pick off the top of my head just anything in particular.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I just, I felt like I'd ask that because I kind of, I loved a lot of different movies when it comes to my favorite zombie movie. I really do. Return of the Living Dead got me into the zombie era. But movie wise, man, see, anything can be like you can have so many different things when it comes to zombies. Evil Dead, that's a zombie movie, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if we're gonna count that as a zombie movie, Evil Dead's my favorite zombie movie.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that's one of the top ones on my list. Like Evil Dead would be definitely one of them. And then to go into animation, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is one of my favorites. So there's those, it doesn't have to just stick to, live action movies. It could be anything. Shaun of the Dead. I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead's an absolute classic, and that moves kind of farther into, just how good zombie can be in really any aspect. Because I've seen zombie movies that have made me cry.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't focus so much on the zombies as it focuses on other aspects. I can't remember what the film was called, but it's literally about, it's a future where people who are infected can still exist as human beings. They just need treatments.
Right.
And
Are you talking about the zombie movie Fido?
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen pictures for it everywhere. I can't remember what this movie's called, but as the movie goes on, you find out that, this couple, they're, married and everything like that. And they let these two people come stay with them. And, they don't know that one of them is infected. And the whole reason they're staying with them is so they can steal their supply of medication. And so they're working on like an overall cure for it. And then like right at the end of the movie, after you've spent all this time getting to know these two characters, the dude changes and he of course like changed himself up because he doesn't want to kill his wife. And he changes so his wife shoots him in the head. And then as soon as that happens, she gets a phone call that the full cure is finally out.
Huh.
And it's like, bawled my fucking eyes out. I was like, that was a masterpiece of a movie.
Huh.
Same with Warm Bodies. Warm Bodies is a phenomenal film if you haven't watched that one.
So, yeah. So now that we got some of Flerp's choices in there, Zombie, do you have anything for us?
Well, I will say this. We got the white stuff. Y'all come back now. We did.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time. Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all times. Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
They must be destroyed on sight.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Dawn of the Dead.
Brains. Hey, we're back. Like the zombies, you just can't keep us away.
That's true. So, so Flerp, what was the name of that movie, by the way?
So during our little break, I got to hit up the Google, and it's amazing how many times you have to type the same thing into Google and change one or two words to finally get what you're looking for. But the movie was called The Returned.
The Returned. Okay.
It's such a let me see if I can get like a synopsis really quick. So The Returned is set in a post-zombie world where the infected live normal lives. But the problem is the retroviral drug is running out. So basically, what keeps them from turning into zombies is running out. So it's kind of like whatever that is, Zombrex in the Dead Rising series. But there's a severe short supply of it. So people start stealing it from people and all sorts of different shit. It's a really good film, and it's got some notable actors in it. Nothing that's done anything big, but it's got like Emily Hampshire and Chris Holden Reed, who the only other thing I've ever seen him in, and he's played Quint in Underworld Awakening, but that's it.
Well, it's funny. I'm looking at the poster for it, and the first thing I thought, I was like, I wonder how they dated then. If they're trying to live normal lives, did they have like, you don't have to be lonely at zombiesonly.com? I mean, did they have that kind of?
I would imagine that they were already together before he got infected.
Maybe. Well, what about the ones that weren't? What about the singles? What happened to them? I want to know about that. No, anyways.
Well, maybe there's a Tinder for that. Like
Tinder. It's called Cinder.
Yeah.
Oh, zombie Tinder, Zinder.
It's instead of
Zombies
I don't
only.
even know. It's just brain sleeves.
Zombiesonly.com. So, okay. So we talked about that, and Zombie brought up something that I had to look up because I really wasn't sure about it until I was like, what the heck is that? It's the name of a dog. No, but Zombie, go ahead.
Fido is the classic tale of a boy and his zombie.
Oh, did he name his zombie Fido? Seriously?
I can't remember. I can't. It's been a long time since I've seen that. But so the premise is, obviously it's a zombie, so there's been a zombie outbreak. But you can put a collar on a zombie and it won't attack a human.
Oh.
So they use them for manual labor and stuff like that because it's a zombie. It doesn't get tired, really. So you slap these collar on it, it's like, hey, move that pile of sand from here to over there, and they'll do it.
Which goes back to what we talked about, having them originally for menial labor and evil deeds and whatnot.
So, and, stuff happens and yada, yada, yada. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but that's kind of the premise of it is, a boy and his zombie.
Right. It has 3 big names that I literally was able to notice. One was Carrie Ann Moss, which we all know her from, a lot of it from the Matrix series and stuff like that. It has Billy Connolly in it, which Billy Connolly is a Scottish actor. He literally is a stand-up comedian. He's done so much stuff. He had his own TV show at one time. There was a show back in the day called Head of the Class, and when the main star of Head of the Class left, he took over it, and then it bombed after a year. But he was still part of it. That's the first time I ever seen him on there. And then he had his own TV show called Billy, I think it was called. And then more notably, there's a guy in here named Tim Blake Nelson. Tim Blake Nelson was amazing in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He did such a good job in that movie. He was Dr. Podansky in Holes. He also is Samuel Stearns in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, if you don't know who that is, because he was in The Incredible Hulk. And he's also reprising his role. And he's going to be... Does anybody want to take a guess? Anybody know?
No.
The leader. So he's going to be the leader, which is a huge Hulk bad guy. And and they teased it at the end of The Incredible Hulk. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see him coming back. He's been in a lot of movies. I really enjoy him as an actor. Like I really, really loved him in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He was one of the ditzy brothers, which was amazing. He did such a good job. So, But yeah, I definitely want to watch this movie. I gotta watch this movie.
It's good. Yeah.
So let's talk a second about let's move it over to video games.
Yep.
When it comes to video games, what was your okay? So I don't have to ask Flerp because I know what his favorite zombie video game is of all time. I don't care. I don't. It's not going to change. It's going to be the same thing as it has been the last 2 times we talked about this. So, but for zombie, I may not know. So, what is your favorite zombie game of all time?
So it's it's tough to say because I look at I have 2 and I like them each for different reasons.
Well, tell us about it.
So first off, the 2 are 1, 7 Days to Die, and Left 4 Dead.
Okay.
The Left 4
As
Dead
a
series.
Okay, I was gonna say as a series. That's what I wanted to.
Yeah.
So let's touch a little bit on that, just a little bit though.
So I like Left 4 Dead the series because it's it's easy to get into.
Yeah.
It's different from 7 Days because you can just go and you can even play yourself. You can shoot some zombies and you're good. You get your special infected that you kind of have to look out for and, adjust how you're playing. And stuff like that. You can mod it and everything like that and do all kinds of, whatever you want to your heart's content. But I think it's good because it's just, to me, it's a simple. They took the simple concept of, hey, let's have some survivors fight some zombies, and they gave them an objective. There you go. They didn't try to overcomplicate it. They didn't try to make some, mechanics that are like, oh, well, we can implement this mechanic and make them, no, they went, okay, nope. Let's make a simple zombie game. And they did it well.
Right.
I like 7 Days because it also opens up. What I like about 7 Days is I like the zombies and I like how, again, you have the special infected. I like that they work that you can have different ways of doing it. You can play I'm going to go in with a melee weapon. I can go in with a gun, or I'm going to try and go stealthy as I can so none of them wake up.
Yeah.
I like that variety of it. And I'm not going to get into, the whole still an alpha and all that. I'm just talking about
did that.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like both of them for different reasons, but picking a top is, I don't know if I can.
Man, I felt like you'd be more of a Plants vs. Zombies type of guy. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure that was enjoyable, but I've never played it.
Too green.
Too green. Too much green on both sides. So yeah, fair enough. What about you, Flerp? What's your favorite or couple favorites that you enjoy? Like I said, I know what your number one is, so you could touch on that really quick and then say what another game you enjoy is. How about that?
I'm just gonna come out and say it. Resident Evil Slapsticks. It's the greatest horror series. It's awesome. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So outside of that, I was a very, very big fan of it's kind of a stupider game, but it was called Lollipop Chainsaw. Basically, you were like a cheerleader with a chainsaw that just went around like cutting up zombies while carrying your dead boyfriend's head around with you. It was
Holy
absolutely
crap.
stupid, but it played a lot like a Devil May Cry game. So that one was really sick. Obviously we got to give it to Left 4 Dead. I mean, it's a team based, you actually that's a game that makes you want to play with your friends. It's not one of those that you really want to go at solo. I mean, you can, but the AI is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So most of the time, like, that you're like, all right, I'm still being grabbed by a smoker. Like, are you gonna save me yet? And it's like, oh no,
Hello?
you're gonna chill there doing that until it's time. Okay. But there is a lot of good zombie games that exist. It's hard to pick, like, specifics. And it's also kind of difficult to be like, oh, well, what constitutes a zombie nowadays? Because I feel like it's such a vague term.
Yeah.
But I guess I would also kind of count Hunt Showdown as a zombie game.
I think you would.
It does have its fair share of zombies.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Outside of that, I don't know if they technically count as zombies, but I'm going to call them zombies. The Evil Within.
Okay.
Fucking, The Evil Within is, it's another top tier survival horror zombie-ish game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I could go down the rabbit hole and try and remember every zombie game that I've ever played, but the problem is, and I feel like this is why it's so difficult for me to think about, what my favorite zombie movie is. It's just, there are so many just rinse, repeat things in the entire world of zombies that it's kind of hard to, like, remember all of them.
They have a Yakuza Dead Souls game.
Yes, they do. And it is absolute dog shit. But do I love it? Because it's Yakuza? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I passed by that. I was like, what? I have Like a Dragon, and I love that game.
So I've played... Yakuza is my favorite game series.
Yeah.
Even above Resident Evil. But that's not for this podcast.
No, that's another one down the road.
But... it's just like, there are so many movies that exist and so many games that exist in this zombie world that, they're forgettable. Because they're just like the other thing. Like, a zombie movie I'll never forget? Anna and the Apocalypse. Because it was a fucking musical. Like, I'll never forget that one.
What about Disney Zombies and Zombies 2?
I didn't see those.
I actually did because, kids. So,
but like, same with like Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Like, it was unique enough, and I feel like that's why Zombieland and Zombieland 2 did so well, because they were unique. They had that specialty to them. I don't like, as much as I love Dawn of the Dead and, the remake, there's a million movies now that are like, oh yeah, let's put our survivors in a mall. Like, I don't know, it's just, it always has to do with a mall, an island, or something else. And it's just, I don't know, everything just kind of blends together, and that's why I feel like zombies is such a rough topic. By the way, I just want to touch on my favorite zombie TV show. That's going to be Z Nation.
Ooh, that's a good one. Now, see, I brought up one that I was telling you guys about during the break, and the one I liked. Granted, I may get ridiculed for this, but it was iZombie. I actually enjoy. It was
fucking excellent.
Okay. I'm glad you think that, because I loved it. I loved the whole premise of it. It was, but so iZombie. If anybody doesn't know what that is, It's basically a DC owned property. It was comic book or whatever you want to call it, graphic novel, and they turned it into a TV show, and I think it went for 5 seasons. I think. And it was an excellent show. I really like it. I did like the first few seasons of The Walking Dead. I haven't really watched much since then, but
watching them walk through a forest every episode, so I was just kind of I gave up on it for a while. I did eventually end up going back and watching all of The Walking Dead, and it's really good when you give it time to get good.
So you're gonna watch the new ones that are out now that like they're bringing back?
Oh, I've already watched Dead City, and that was phenomenal. But that's just I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Negan is just such a unique and awesome character.
Yeah, but he wasn't even supposed to be there that long. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, but Daryl doesn't even exist. So the fact that he's alive and getting his own show pisses me off. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So, all right, going back to games again, just to talk about a little bit about mine. So, when you think of zombie games and stuff like that, you definitely like my favorite is the Resident Evil series as a whole. The first one will always have a special place in my heart because it is the first one and it was amazing to me. I played through that game quite a few times. And it's been a long time since I played through it. I consider, I want to say Silent Hill has a slight type of zombiness to it. I don't want to say it's like focused on the zombie aspect, but there are zombies in it. So, if I was to pick between the two, I'm not going to pick Silent Hill because it's not like a full-on zombie game. But a lot of us have the same type of, I could say Doom. Doom had zombies in it, there's a lot of that stuff that I could say, but because of my friends and because of how much I enjoy it, I will also say 7 Days to Die. I love 7 Days to Die. That would be like more second on my list because Resident Evil will always be at the top. So I got like Resident Evil, 7 Days to Die, Left 4 Dead 2. I've not even played any other Left 4 Deads. I've only played Left 4 Dead 2, which is, I know it's a shame. You can scold me later. But those are the games that I know. And when it comes to, like I said, Doom was great in the back of the day. But I'm not a big fan of that type of genre. Not genre, but like it's the first person aspect, even though 7 Days to Die is first person, but that it was. I think there's a mod you can make it third person. Pretty sure. I think we had it. But yeah, so those are the type of games I enjoy. I would say Call of Duty Zombies, but I don't like Call of Duty that much, so I'm not going to say that. That was more of a shout out to Joe. Love you, Joe. But yeah, that's kind of it. For me, I haven't played a whole lot of zombies in games, but the ones I have, I like Project Zomboid. That's a good game, but it's not one of my favorites. The more and more I run into people that play zombie games like Annielina, Zombie, Flerp. There's a bunch of them that pull me into different zombie games, and Annie more than most. So she's pretty awesome in that. Well, she's pretty awesome altogether, but in that aspect, she'll pull me into stuff. I have the Walking Dead Telltale series complete, but I've never played it. I've got it.
You should. You're missing out.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you've been bitten?
Ha!
I have been bitten. Yes. I would say smitten, but I'll say bitten.
The more of those puns that come out, the more I'm never going to do another podcast with Zombie.
Oh, well, okay, let's see.
I'm kidding.
I've seen a lot of other stuff played. Back 4 Blood I've seen played. I've seen World War Z. I've seen Days Gone. I've seen a lot of those, the newer, especially in the newer games. Dying Light and stuff. So
I like Back 4 Blood. it's in the vein of Left 4 Dead. But
Well, I've got Back 4 Blood for my PS5 and I've never played it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but I'm just saying is I know they tried to differ it from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Because you got your cards and stuff like that, and I like how you can kind of customize yourself, but I also feel that takes away from, to me, what made Left 4 Dead good.
Yeah.
Because now you got I'm running the wrong cards. I made a mistake, or what? And it's like, okay, well, now this run is shot or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, it's not so much that it's like, oh, it's a bad game.
Oh, I've also played Zombie Army 4, which is pretty good. It's a little different, but
yes.
It's pretty good. So yeah,
I think I think Back 4 Blood was I think it was a good attempt at trying to give us a new age Left 4 Dead. I agree that the card system, I didn't like the card system at first until I started learning, kind of that you could have a lot of fun with it. Like I ran a melee build. Melee was how I played the game, and it was so much fun. And then the creators were like, fun? In my zombie game? I don't think so. So they nerfed everything and then removed a bunch of cards and made it so melee builds just are dog shit. And I never played it again because I was like, okay, why? They Dead by Daylighted me. They took away my whole playstyle.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm just never gonna load this back up, and that's fine.
So
World War Z was a really good zombie game.
Yeah, World War Z, Lana plays that, or did play that a lot, so I almost bought it because I wanted to play with her.
It was third person Left 4 Dead. It was great.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I'm still looking at this Lollipop Chainsaw over here. I feel like the only reason you picked that up because of the hot chick on the front.
What?
Lollipop Chainsaw, there's this wannabe, kind of, Harley Quinn type of character on the front.
That's the main character of the game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like you saw that with the chainsaw. You're like,
No, I saw the announcement for it when I was watching. I don't remember what was it. What the hell was it called? They don't do it anymore. It was one of those game shows. What the hell was it?
Oh.
They don't. It's one that they stopped doing. It was one of those game announcement shows. I think it started with an E. I don't remember. But
extreme
no, it was it was an annual thing. Kind of like the Game Awards or something like that.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But they quit doing it. And
like E3 kind of?
E3, that's exactly what it was. E3 doesn't exist anymore. But I saw the trailer for Lollipop Chainsaw at an E3. And it looked fucking awesome. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick this up.
Oh wow. Did you know they're making a movie about it?
Really?
No, not kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say they probably shouldn't.
Well, now that I said that, if somebody watches this, they're gonna or listens to this, they're gonna be like, huh. Interesting. So
it's like, actually, it was made by indie director Bob Fuck My Ass, and it was like a 3 out of 10.
It's gonna be a James Gunn film. So yeah, no.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm not watching it now. So yeah, but apparently, that's kind of funny. Tara Strong voiced the main character in that game.
Tara Strong voices everything.
Yeah, but when I said Harley Quinn, because
yeah, you were right.
I was right because she voiced Harley Quinn, not the original voice, but she has voiced Harley Quinn. Also, Powerpuff Girls and everything else under the sun. So Rugrats, you know. Anyways, so another for another day, whatever. But yeah, so I just saw that. But anyways, I don't know. I was closing out my tabs and I had Lollipop Chainsaw pulled up and I was like, I want to mess with Flerp. I want to be like, I want to draw this out and be like, you know, they're making a movie. Just to see what you were gonna say.
They need to stop making video game movies.
Oh gosh, well that's gonna be one of the things we're gonna talk about in the future. So that's a topic that we got set up for a future date. Like,
Sir, the Goombas are dancing again.
holy crap! Oh gosh, but yeah. So let me ask any final thoughts on zombie lore or anything when it comes to zombies?
So I have one thing.
Okay.
And so I came up again with me and my friend that watched the bad movies. I can't remember the name of this movie, but it didn't start as a zombie movie. So it started out as, you know, like group of college kids on spring break go to fix up a house and stuff happens. You know, that's kind of the premise. You know, like they go to the house and they're fixing it up for spring break and having fun. And, you know, it's like the whole haunted house type thing.
Yeah.
And this is such a bad movie. I mean, we're just watching this and like, why? Why are we still watching this turd?
But you can't stop, right? You just keep
Well,
watching.
yeah, because, you know, well, I've seen enough bad movies and I'm like, something like the ending redeems it just enough that you're like, okay, it was a crap movie, but okay, whatever. But at a certain point towards the end of this movie, like you're right at the climactic moment.
Yeah.
All these zombies appear out of nowhere. Not just a couple, like a literal massive horde of zombies.
That's freaking hilarious.
Just shows up out of nowhere.
How can you say this and not tell us and not know the name of the movie?
Because okay, so I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And they didn't even reference like, hey, well, there's a cemetery over here. That would have at least connected it.
Right.
You know. They just showed up and I was so flabbergasted. It made the movie better, which prompted me to create my rule. If you have a bad movie, introduce zombies. You pick any bad movie, introduce zombies to it, it makes it better.
Huh.
I mean,
yeah.
What's a bad movie? So, Phoenix, what's a bad movie off the top of your head?
Oh, gosh, off the top of my head?
Yeah.
Dude, don't ask me that. Like, I'm trying to think now, and now I can't. I'm completely stumped. Flerp.
Or just any movie that like at all. It doesn't have to be a bad movie. You know, like okay, Star Wars.
Episode 9.
You know, okay. you take a Star Wars movie and introduce zombies to it.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
There's no fixing that. Sorry.
Add zombies to it.
Add zombies to it.
That's like saying you're gonna fix what is it?
No, I'm not saying it makes it a good movie.
It just makes it better.
It makes it better.
They should have introduced zombies into like The Wizard of Oz. That would have made it even better. Like it was a great movie as it is, but I don't know how you'd bring them in. But hey,
you don't explain it.
Remove them creepy ass monkeys.
Yeah, just with zombies. So yeah, that's a good rule though. I like that. What about you, Flerp? Any last thoughts for you?
Really? I just pray that we keep getting unique zombie ideas every once in a while, so that way I actually enjoy stuff. We haven't had a good zombie movie in a while, so I'm waiting.
That's a question I want to ask you, okay? Flerp, if there's one type of movie you can make, a zombie movie that you can make, to make it unique, how would you do it?
if there was one type of zombie movie I could make that would make it unique.
I mean, not even a movie that's been made yet. Like an idea for a movie that you would have that would make it unique to where it's not around shopping malls and schools and, you know, graveyards and whatever, you know.
Well, that's the thing. You know, in every zombie everything now, it's either a school, a fucking a ruined city, a forest. Like, every place has been done. Like,
Right.
even bunkers have been done. Like, it's not so much about the setting, it's more about just the zombie behavior. Like, you know, it's just, it's hard to keep anything original now. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, what the fuck was that movie called?
Oh, they should do one like Jurassic Park with zombies.
That would be neat.
Park.
Zombie Park. Welcome to Zombie Park. That's funny.
I can't remember what this movie's called now, but it's literally about kids that become zombies because they eat bad chicken nuggets.
Are you
And
serious?
yeah, and it's called Cooties. The movie's called Cooties. And
Jeez.
it was excellent. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. The entire movie is about teachers trying to survive because kids ate like tainted chicken nuggets.
That's true. I mean, that could be a possibility in our school system. Look, I work for the school system. I know.
But like, I've always liked the parasite type of zombie more than I've liked the virus type of zombie. Because
Yeah.
parasite makes more sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
I'll
is
agree
why,
with that.
like, The Last of Us is pretty dope, because I don't know if we technically call those zombies, but it's a parasite.
I mean, they're listed
Like,
as
it's a
zombie games,
fungal-
so
Yeah, it's like a fungal parasite. You know,
Right.
it's like when you find out that that one Pokemon, I can't remember what it is, but like, it's not actually a living creature. It's being controlled by a parasite. And it's like, that makes it fucking terrifying.
yeah.
So, do you know what zombies like when they go to the gym?
Oh no, here we go again. What do zombies like when they go to gym?
Gains.
Oh, see, this is why zombie keeps me around, because I
This
laugh at his
hurts,
jokes.
but I love it.
I will say this: there's a movie that is not listed in anything, but it does have zombies in it, and it's the first time I ever remember seeing Jessica Alba. So I'm gonna count it. There's a movie called Idle Hands, and I love that
This
movie.
is such an amazing movie.
I love it. And literally,
Go Buffalo!
he cuts his hand off. He kills two of his two best friends, and they come back as zombies. So right then and there, they have zombies in it. So I count it. That's got to be one of my top. I love it. You also see Jessica Alba in her skivvies, which is great. Yeah. So
Seth Green's best roles.
Seth Green was amazing. Like, straight up. Like, the whole cast was good.
I figured, fuck it. I mean, it was really far.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, so
I can quote that movie all day long. It's
we
such
need to have
good
a
film.
watch party.
Oh.
Definitely have to have a watch party with that. That's a great movie. Have you ever seen that zombie?
Look at me, I'm a Leatherface.
In what?
Have you ever seen Idle Hands?
If I have, it's been long enough that I can't really remember.
That's a
Okay,
shame.
so
That's a
that's what
shame.
we're doing.
Yeah.
One of these days, instead of sitting down playing video games, we're going to do a Discord watch party because, you know, I own that movie.
Sunday, maybe? We can do it Sunday.
Perhaps.
Okay, so we'll talk about that off the camera, but let me just say this. That was kind of my final thought on that, because, you know, I do love all things zombie related, you know. Did you hear that? Flerp made that really nice zombie noise. He's like,
I did.
I was burping.
I know you were. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all we got right now, guys. We could sit here and talk about zombies for hours. But Flerp's got a thing that has to do a thing and a thing and a thing. So, you know, we can't do that all day, but, you know,
Shit to do.
Exactly. So me and Zombie, we could just sit here all day. Like, okay, what's next? No.
I mean, I am going to sit here most of the day.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, I got to stream here in a little bit, so, you know, I'm going to have to get off here anyways. But I want to thank you guys for being here. Flerp, I really appreciate you taking time out of your off week to come in here and hang out with us and talk about zombies and
Of course.
put up with the puns.
You were the life of this podcast.
Ha ha ha.
But on that note, we're gonna head out. It was a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed spending time here. If you want to know more about our podcast, our little lovely podcast, we have a link below that's in the description, and that can take you to all things from the ashes. And it's got everything in there from links to like our social medias, our Twitch accounts, everything. So you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week like always.
Bye.